Welcome to the Wellness Amazon podcast, where we talk about everything body, mind, and spirit, health, and wellness. No subject is taboo here, and we have fun peeling back all the layers. Let's do this. Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of the Wellness Amazon podcast. Today, we have Amy on the show. Super glad I found her in an awesome group on social media with all the metaphysical things you can imagine. And today, we're going to talk about Reiki, what it is, what it is not. And we're hopefully going to paint a beautiful picture for people so people can understand and know what it is. And of course, we're going to link Amy's information so you can also find her if you want to work with her. Welcome, Amy, to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. I am super excited about this.
Yeah, so introduce yourself and tell us what do you do and what's your business all about too.
I am a quantum mentor, healer, teacher, and artist. And my business has basically grown. I started out in a different business back in 2020, and it's grown over the years. I now have Gnosis is my current business, and it is all based within quantum activation. I am the founder of the quantum activation system, and Reiki is actually included in that. I do provide all my services, my mentorship, everything is based within the quantum field, and it's based within a 3 point system where I focus on mental, emotional, and the physical body. So it's more holistic based. And my quantum Reiki activation sessions, they go deeper within the body so that it's not just the Reiki session, it's more about creating the environment for healing, creating the type of environment within the system that opens up the pathways for regeneration, for expansion, and for not just healing the current energy, which most Reiki it's focused on the here and now, the present moment. But I do go back because I touch on emotional aspects that, could be from childhood or past lifetimes, whatever it may be. Yes, I definitely go much deeper than traditional Reiki because I've been able to create the type of Reiki that I see is necessary for my clients' needs. Um, and because all illness and unwellness is based within some kind of emotional root, typically when it's a long term type situation. I offer mentorship. So that would include Reiki sessions involved with quantum healing activation sessions. I do a couple different other services involved with that just to get holistic wellness so that people don't consistently have to keep going back to someone their whole entire life, that they can really get the root of the problem, solve that problem, and move on with their healing, their expansion, and their purpose.
So for someone who has no clue what Reiki is, never even heard it in their life, right? In a nutshell, what's Reiki?
So, Reiki is the active ability I would recommend using a Reiki master so that they're certified and they really truly have studied and know what they're doing. Um, And what they'll do is they will use their skill set through their mastery to basically even out and rebalance the energies within the human system. Most Reiki practitioners in general are going to be based within the chakra system because the human body has energy centers. In those energy centers, they are connected to the spinal column. The spinal column then controls whatever organs of the body, in different sections. And they are all linked together. They can be linked with frequency, which is just like it could be sound frequency, color frequency, um, because all molecules have frequency and we're made out of molecules. So with Reiki, it can help to even and balance things out in the body. So, like if you had, let's say you sprained your ankle, you could use Reiki and it would actually help with the swelling. It would help to take away the bruising. It would make it so that it doesn't feel so uncomfortable because it's rebalancing and pulling out that energy from just that one specific spot to the rest of the body. So it's easier for the body to heal and handle. Um, Reiki is something that is not permanent though, and it basically sets the environment of the body for optimal healing and wellness. So it gives the body the space needed to recover on its own. And that's why it's a holistic modality of wellness because it's not invasive. Anyone of any age can utilize it, no matter what the health ailment is. Pregnant women can also use it. It doesn't have any harmful effects on the baby or anything like that. If you're like, I used to have a client who was getting chemotherapy for cancer treatment, and it actually made that patient feel much better because they get pretty sick during treatment times. And so it can be used in conjunction with your practitioner, with whatever medicine you're using. And that's how I would recommend to use Reiki, is not just for healing because you're not going to get the result that you want, but in conjunction to make healing possible faster and make it more gentle for you to go through the process of healing. And it also helps with emotional traumas or mental unbalances. So, a lot of people who have, I used it myself for anxiety. I used to have really severe anxiety, like panic attacks and whatnot, like even social anxiety. In the Reiki, it helped me with my crown chakra, which is the mind.
Wow. So it's a
So
energetic
yeah, it has a large
healing.
array of area that it covers. Yes, absolutely. And I would say that it makes it easier for the body to recover when like because when you're sick or there's a issue like anxiety, overthinking, anything like that, all of the energy goes right to that spot. And then the Reiki, what it does is it dissipates that energy. So it's not like you're not going to feel the throbbing pain. You're not going to feel the aches as badly. But it is something that if you have long term or chronic issues, you would have to consistently get Reiki sessions.
Okay. What is the most common misconception that you hear, especially from people that are not maybe in that metaphysical world, right? What is something that people say Reiki is and that is it not?
Well, healing. It is not designed to be a healing modality. Um, and also, people often think it's woo woo, and it's not woo woo. It is based in science, it is based within the quantum sciences, and that's why I love it so much. Um, it actually originated in Eastern medicine, and it's still practiced. Reiki, believe it or not, in traditional Chinese medicine, it's utilized still to this day. Like if you go to a hospital, they will have a Reiki practitioner come in and do a session with you. Like it's part of your care. It's considered to be beneficial not just for the patient but also for the doctors and the practitioners because it makes their job easier actually to heal the patient. So it's not woo woo. It's not, oh, they're just making it up, or, like just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not active.
Hmm. I have seen this thing, and it was actually on social media the other day, and I was so shocked. It was somebody who literally said, Reiki is evil and it's demonic and it's against whatever. And I thought, wait, what? Nobody is sacrificing animals here. Where's this coming from?
Oh my goodness. That is I've never heard that, but that is outrageous. A lot of I find a lot of people who believe that it's like fake or woo woo or like witchy or something, they don't have the education on the history of it in the Eastern medicines. And actually in Western medicine, we're quite far behind as compared to traditional like Chinese medicine that uses more of a holistic approach. In our Western society, often people just believe, well, you need to take something for the physical body, like a pill or a treatment or something, where the body heals a lot easier and more permanently if you add in those holistic aspects, because the body needs help when you're adding in different things like pills and different medicines and treatments. The body is under stress and pressure because those things are not natural for the body to have in them. And so the like something like Reiki or even herbal teas in conjunction with your Reiki and your medicine would all be beneficial for the whole body and the whole wellness.
So
Okay.
when you let's say somebody says, okay, I want to have a Reiki session with Amy, right? How do we have to envision this? What does this look like?
So I do all my sessions remotely because I used to do when I owned a store in Michigan, when my first business. I did used to do Reiki sessions in person. But after COVID and everything, I started doing more of the remote sessions, which I just do over the phone, not even on a video, because usually when someone is going to do a Reiki session, I have them lay down in a very comfortable position. So, like their bed, and I don't need to see people laying in their bed. And
Right.
so what I do is I just go over the phone. And because Reiki is based within energetics, it's based within a frequency. As a Reiki practitioner, I am able to connect with other people's energy very easily. And they could be any distance away. They could live in Australia and I could still do the session with the same value and potency as if they were sitting right in front of me. So that's another reason why people often think it doesn't work because, they're like, well, I'm not there. How are you going to do this session? But in the quantum realm, which is where Reiki energy is based, um, y- it's it's not about the physical body necessarily. It's about the energetic body, and there can be any distance, any of that. And so, what I would do, have them lay down. I would scan their body and see like where I find problems. And I often will find what I can feel typically is health issues, or like if they had an old injury, like let's say they hurt their knee back in high school. I can feel that during my session, and I will ask them, is this a current injury? Is this a past injury? Is this bothering you now? That type of thing. Um, I can I can feel inflammation, I can feel nervous energies, and then because typically my first scan is just through the chakra system. So I see where there's an unbalance. I talk to them during the session, and I usually also have frequency music um, for the balancing of the chakras also playing during their session because that helps me. And then once we go through their chakras, they will let me know. I'll ask and they'll let me know how they're feeling, anything like that. Because surprisingly, you can actually feel the Reiki energy in the chakra systems turning and changing. You can feel it inside of you. Um, And you can even feel like you'll feel tingling, or like the hairs on your arm will stand up, things like that. You might even get like kind of itchy during the session because the energy is moving around. It's real time. Some people feel like little jolts of electricity, and they'll like jump during the session. Um, but overall, I basically say, how's this feeling to you? Does this feel better? And they'll let me know. And then I'll continue with the session. I'll continue deciding if I need to keep balancing or if I can move on to a different part of them. If it's someone who has like a chronic illness or a specific ailment that I'm focusing on, and it's not like the chakra system, just a general Reiki balancing session, I will focus and I'll have a plan of action and strategy specific for that health ailment. And it would be based within their treatment that I decide for them. So we would focus a little bit different for someone with a specific problem.
And that's great that you do it, because that would have been my next question if you do remote too, because then, when we put your info in the show notes, everybody around the world can reach out to you and it doesn't have to be local. So that's great. Yeah. Um, what are the most common reasons, I guess, people seek you out and want some of your support?
The most common would be chronic conditions. So to help them manage those chronic conditions. So I have a lot of clients, and typically women, female clients come to me. Um, a lot of clients who are in that menopause, premenopause type phase because their body is changing so drastically, and they are seeking balance. They seek just to feel normal. So I help a lot of women go through those stages. Um, Also, people who have chronic pain conditions like arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or anything else. It also helps a lot with, like, if you have just a general cold, chest congestion, or during 2020, I worked with a lot of patients who had COVID or who had just gotten over COVID because it helped them to be able to breathe and feel better. Just in their energy, like it helps you to have more energy. Of course, it's not permanent, so they would have to do like weekly sessions if you have something that's really heavy, like COVID or something. But for just pain management, every couple of weeks is a great time frame just to make sure that the body is staying in a balanced state. And it takes away, it can help with migraine headaches. I've had clients who did chemotherapy for their cancer treatment. My daughter, even when she broke her leg this past summer, and I did Reiki healing on her because she had to have a plate put in her leg, and it was a very long and traumatic process. And so I did Reiki treatment with her consistently through 6-week period, and the doctors noticed rapid regeneration with her, and she 100% believes that the Reiki and the sound frequency that I use was the reason for that. But all kinds of health ailments, really.
That's amazing. And what a great testimony too that you have that Western medicine practitioner say, "Hey, wow, this is very fast. What are you doing?"
Yeah, absolutely. The doctor was very surprised, and he said it was healing like almost double speed.
Wow, that's impressive, double speed. How did you get there? I mean, this is not something that, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, when I grow up, I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a Reiki master."
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually, I used to be the skeptic. I did not believe in Reiki. I did not believe in holistic wellness. I used to work at a health center actually for about a decade. And after working at the health center, 2020 happened, COVID, and I lived in Michigan at the time. And my daughter, the schools closed down and everything, like the whole state basically shut down. So I had to go on family leave for my daughter from my job. And I had immense amounts of stress from not working and COVID and not knowing like what my future was holding. And I started meditating to try and calm my panic attacks and anxiety down. And then the meditation didn't like it worked for the time, but it wasn't giving me a long-term solution. Like I was still getting anxiety. So I came across neuro linguistics programming and I became certified in NLP, which is about reprogramming the subconscious mind. But I would reprogram and I would still feel things in my body. So I was like, well, what is going on? Like, why isn't this solving my problem? So I wanted to dive deeper. And then I came across Reiki and I became certified. I mean, I wasn't working because no one was working. So I was like, well, I have the time to do it. So I might as well just become a Reiki master. And I did. And it changed almost my entire perception of health and wellness and our healthcare system, because I learned a lot about the Eastern healthcare system and how much more holistic it was. And that was more towards my own desires and wants for healthcare. I hated taking medicine because I actually had I had autoimmune disorder that my body struggled with for almost like 28 years. I had numerous different chronic conditions like asthma, I was taking steroids and all these things. So 2020 really gave me the time because I lost my health insurance, so I couldn't afford the prescriptions and all these other things. But it really showed me where I was not caring for myself properly. And I was just using medicine as like almost like a coping mechanism, which I was getting side effects from, and it was making me sick anyways. So when I learned with these different tools, I decided, well, I feel so much better, just like overall my energy, and like I wasn't having digestive issues anymore. Like a lot of my problems went away when I started not taking medicine all the time and focusing more holistically. So in 2021, when the state opened back up, I opened a business, and it was a metaphysical based business in my small community. And I offered Reiki. I was the only one in the whole area who offered the service. And I taught meditation because I really valued those things for myself. And I thought that others could get help from that. And it turns out then, after I left and I moved to Florida, which is where I'm at now, multiple other businesses opened up that were sound therapy, massage, acupuncture, all these new holistic wellness services came in. And I was so proud of my community because they opened up to a new form of wellness. And I lived in rural Michigan, in a town of 3,000 people, the most unsuspecting holistic type of people you would ever meet. But they all really received it well because they could feel it in their own body.
That is a beautiful story because not only, like you said, you were actually a skeptic and it almost came out of necessity to look at something else. And I wish people would understand that too when we say the thing's holistic, yeah, it's whole, it's all of it. It's not that we don't need Western medicine, but we need all the other things too. And if we combine them, it's like the superpower.
Yes, absolutely. And it really takes the healing and wellness abilities of the body to the next level. Like people just think, oh, I have to live in suffering, but you don't have to live in suffering. That's why we have these holistic modalities of wellness, like sound frequency, acupuncture, massage therapy is one that people don't often, take as like healing, but it really is because massage also moves the energy like Reiki does.
Hmm. Absolutely. How would you say there is a certain skill or talent or maybe intuition or anything like this that somebody should have in order to practice Reiki?
Absolutely. I do feel that when you become a certified Reiki master, you are taught more how to use your intuition because you're more focused on how you're feeling in your body. That's how you can kind of read how others' energy is because you're connecting energetically to them. If I did not have intuition, I would be a terrible Reiki practitioner. I do feel, but just being empathetic and understanding and meeting your client where they're at, not saying, oh, we're going to fix you and we're going to do all these other things. It's meeting them where they're at and just allowing for the smaller adjustments that will improve their quality of life until you see them again. And I feel like that's what people really value is you're not trying to force them into some kind of drastic change. Reiki is very soft. It's very gentle, and that's why it's non-invasive. It's able anyone can utilize it. But it meets you exactly where your body is right here and now in the present, and it helps you for the present moment to allow the body whatever space it needs for healing or room to grow, that type of thing. But I would definitely make sure if you're going to go to a Reiki practitioner that they are a very empathetic human being and that they are a little bit more intuitive so that you can get the best, optimization. I do see a lot on YouTube, a lot of like Reiki and ASMR type videos, which I love, but those are generalizations, right? So it's just made like a general Reiki energy is going out into the universe for whoever to have. The Reiki that I practice in one-on-one session is a quite a bit different than something you would find like on a YouTube or some kind of other platform because it's very specific to the individual's needs, problems that no one else in the whole world has. Every single person has their own energetic blueprint, and that's what I like to focus on.
Hmm. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that, I don't know, universal energy being used and channeled. When you did your training to become a Reiki master, I guess, what was the most surprising thing for you that you learned that you didn't expect?
Um, that I myself could mutilate or change, transform my own energy within myself. And you don't have to be a Reiki master to be able to do this. Any random person anywhere in the world can utilize Reiki energy without the mastery just for their own general purpose. Um, like even if you put your hands together like this and you can actually feel the energy in between your hands, and that energy is kind of like what we play with, what how we transform things. But the mastery I learned about the chakra centers, I had no clue about any of these things. And then as I dove deeper into it, because I love learning and I am the type of person I just want to learn every single day about every single thing possible. And since I was on my own healing journey and I was looking to heal my own health ailments, so it was actually extremely important to me to learn these things. I learned how to utilize the energy system, not just energy in general, like you would learn about in chemistry class, but the energy system of the body. And I learned all about the different aspects, which I have 3 college degrees And none of these systems were ever taught to me. I worked in healthcare for behavioral health and traditional healthcare for probably 20 years. And I had never learned, no one had ever taught me any of these. No one ever talked about any of these. And I was so surprised that I was like, why aren't you teaching this whole entire different aspect? Because it affects the Reiki energy, and not just Reiki, just energy in general, the energetic system of the human body. It affects the whole body. It's not just like the adrenal system or the reproductive system or the vascular system. It's the whole entire body. It encompasses every single aspect. And I was really surprised that I hadn't learned any of these things. And I was like, well, why aren't they teaching this to us? Because we could be helping so many more people if more people understood themselves and knew how to help to heal themselves.
Yeah, that's where we get back to the whole question of why do doctors never talk about nutrition in medical school? Anything we haven't covered today that you say is we have to talk about when we talk about Reiki that's super important?
Um, we've covered quite a lot, but I do think that just having the correct mindset and perspective and expectations of Reiki's potential capacity and really how to utilize it in a way that is going to provide as much opportunity and potential for the individual is just to know that it's not going to radically save your life or do anything like hugely drastic. Reiki is something that, because the human body goes in and out of different frequencies energetically in the talking in the quantum realm thousands of times a day. Anytime you interact with anything, anytime, like I just took a drink of water, that is me changing my frequency based on my own actions. Anytime you interact with other humans, their frequency, their energy will go into you because it's a shared thing. Even though the thoughts that we think about ourselves, like the inner voice that we have, changes our own frequency out of alignment or into alignment. The more pessimistic we are, the more, melancholy, that type of thing that we are, the more we're actually impeding upon our own energies within ourselves. So, Reiki is something to balance that, but because we do thousands of things a day, every single person, that's just part of life, you're going to go in and out of different frequencies. So if you do Reiki and then you eat a bunch of Kentucky Fried Chicken or you go to like a heavy metal concert, like your frequency is going to change. It's not going to be able to sustain. But if you consume different things such as healthier foods, maybe you go sit out in the grass and meditate, or go to the ocean or something, or you listen to classical music. All those different choices that we make in our day help our body to be in alignment with the natural optimal healing and wellness frequency in the body. So Reiki is a tool to be used in conjunction with our choices, with our everyday um, actions, our everyday thoughts, and our everyday patterns. So, if you really want optimal wellness, it's best that we make choices that promote our highest value and to really think about things like, does this really support my goals? Does this choice really support my health, my wellness? And when we do that, we can include Reiki, we can include other holistic um, modalities like sound or exercising, nutrition, all these other different things to create that holistic aspect of wellness.
Yeah, it's going back to intention and what do you, you really want to get better and you need to work on all of those things and not just on it's not a band-aid fix, it's not a band-aid fix. Where can people find you? And of course, I'm going to put everything in the show notes so people can just click on it. But where can people find you in them?
So I am on YouTube mostly. I am on Instagram. I have a TikTok, but I don't post there very much. Most of my time, because I am more leaning towards teaching and service, I'm mostly on YouTube, so that supports that. All my information, like if you went to at Gnosis, it's GKNOSIS on all the platforms. Um, all my links at my website, everything is all linked in the bio or the description box. And it's very easy. It's the same name across all the platforms.
That's great. I love when people have YouTube because then on my YouTube, I can link their channel into my video and all these things, and people just have to click. That's always fantastic. So that's great. We will do that. And thank you so much for being on the show today, Amy. That was very, very insightful. I don't think I've ever heard that much of Reiki and how it differs too, that people do different things and different methods. And that I hope our listeners are
Yeah.
intrigued and have gotten a little lesson here about, it's nothing evil, it's nothing weird, it's nothing woo woo. It's most woo woo things, there's always science behind it. People just didn't just make things up hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So, yeah.
Right, exactly. I like that you touch on that aspect because so many people do have this misconception or a perception about different things. And I like that you break through that perception and misunderstanding. And the more we educate ourselves on these different modalities, the easier it is to really accept and understand them and give ourselves the opportunity to try something new. And that's really what it's all about. Like, try things that work for you in your health and wellness journey because not everyone is the same. We're all different and we all have different paths, and different wellness modalities will work for some and better for others. I really appreciate you bringing me on, and I love talking about these different modalities. I am extremely passionate about healing, health, wellness, and living more of a holistic, well-rounded life.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it any better. That's 100%. And well, everybody, go find Amy, go find her info, and check out her information and her website and what she does. And hope y'all had fun. Amy, thank you so much for being on the show, and see y'all next time. Give it a like, subscribe, thumbs up, all the things. Bye. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, a review, and share it with somebody you think needs this. Have a fabulous day. See you next time.